Hey everyone, it's Richard Metalfan here. I'm continuing the Children of Bodom discography. I'm picking right back up where I left off at. And today we're going to be talking about Blooddrunk, the band's sixth album released in April of 2008 through Spinefarm Records. Now this, of course, follows up Are You Dead Yet, which I thought was a pretty good album. And I think I said in that review that that was pretty much where Children of Bodom had kind of broken through the mainstream and really gotten big, especially like in the US and stuff. But then I feel like after that, they pretty much went in and tried to like see what they could, if they could top or kind of like go with this album, Blooddrunk. And with this album compared to Are You Dead Yet, I think it's still kind of like has that kind of like mainstream kind of feel to it. It's still kind of Bodom, but it definitely tells it's a little bit different. And I feel like there's also a lot more of the power metal kind of like influence that the band had on, especially with some of their earlier albums like Hatebreeder and Follow the Reaper and Hate Crew Death Roll that was in there. Let's just talk vocally. Alexi Lehio, rest in peace. I feel like his voice sounds a little bit barky. And yeah, and but obviously his guitar playing is great. Same thing with the Rope Levata. Yeah, and also this being his second album with the band and Rope's guitar playing, and he actually does a solo on one of the songs, which is I believe Tie My Rope, and it's really great. The bass playing is pretty solid. It's pretty audible. Drumming wise, Yaska does great, and keyboards is definitely the prevalent sound in Children and Bodom, which Yane's keyboards with Alexi's guitar soloing is just great. So yeah, without further ado, let's just dive into this album track by track. Now starting things off is Hellbound's On My Trail, which just hits the ground running and it really much sets the tone for the album. And it sort of like remains pretty fast paced throughout. And Alexi, I heard him say in like the making of this album they just felt really just aggressive, and it really just shows with the material from this album. And the riffs are pretty much the most part are extremely fast, but they're also yet technical a little bit. It almost kind of feels like you're listening to a thrash metal album a little bit, kind of like Slayer. And I think it's a pretty great way to start off this album. And then we move on to the title track of the album, Blooddrunk, which has a really good like intro from Yane, which is kind of like replicated on guitar. But I feel like the rest of the song is unquestionably kind of reminds me a little bit of like Lamb of God. And there's even like a little spoken word part, and just the influence is kind of obvious, but the solo is really catchy, and Yanni sort of like uses some really cool like scales to give it his leads, and even but Alexi does a really great, but I feel like that's just all the song it has to offer. And if it hasn't been for like the intro or the soul to the song, I don't think I would have bothered listening to this song at all. Moving on to Lobotomy, which I think is kind of an interesting play on words. It starts off with a little drum work intro from Yaska, and he really just shows some really great sick double bass, which is really great to my ears. And the keyboards kind of lay back to provide sort of like atmosphere with sort of like choir strings. And Alexi and Rope keep just the riffing really great. And I just feel like Bodom can do way more than this, is pretty much one can only think hearing the song. And before the solo, there's the sort of like Don't Stop at the Top inspired bridge section. And Alexi, I thought nobody would notice, but it's pretty much good since the solos will come in later. It's really catchy and pretty singable as well. And Alexi's vocals sound a little bit weaker, but it still has that kind of like punch and that drive to it. Next song on the album is called One Day You Will Cry, and this sort of has a kind of like little robot-y, cyborgy kind of intro to it, but it's really catchy and it gets the song going on, and the keyboards do just more than sit back on this one, but I feel like there's like a little bit of an unnecessary kind of like techno fuzz around a minute and a half, which kind of sounds a bit annoying, and I just think it's just weird. But then the solos come in and rescue again, and Alexi plays a great like scale run before just handing over to Yane, which does kind of like a weird thing with his keyboards, but just kind of odd, but I love it. And just the soloing and the lead work is kind of longer and better, but it has the best part of the song, and it's almost just comes back to life with this album so far. Anyway, moving on to Smile Pretty for the Devil. Now, this is a very kind of progressive-like track, which ends with Yanni and Alexi having like a keyboard kind of guitar face-off, and they sort of like go back and forth with sort of great solos and demonstrate the technical prowess that they all have, and they pretty much know what they could do here. Moving on to Tie My Rope, which starts off with a weird kind of bad like blaring sound. sound that is just not bad, but it's not like the song that Children of Bodom we want. And throughout the song, you kind of like have like elements of thrash, and then there's an interlude which has like a kind of a good like little weird thing that Yanni does, which puts up to a great solo and gives way to sort of like Alexi's kind of like shred fest. And it's just the chorus of the song is like one of the best on this whole album, including the lyrics, which is in my opinion far the best. Moving on to Done With Everything, Die For Nothing. Now this isn't really a song you don't want to come back to listening to. And this song just kickstarts a great fast lick that Alexi plays, and a slow riff and a really catchy one, and it just keeps true to the whole song. And during the solo, and then there's all three speedsters being Alexi, Yanni, and I believe Rope, just join in and just shred the hell out of their instruments. And it's a good song. It's kind of a little bit gloomy, which is not interesting that much. Band from Heaven, which is kind of has a soft ballad thing, which these guys love to do, which I feel like kind of has a little bit of that vibe with like Angels Don't Kill. But I think I like this song mainly because of the chords used in the favorites, and I love like the nice scale changes and the sort of like the slow down, which makes it really cool to listen to. And the breakdown is kind of similar to Hate Me off of Follow the Reaper, and Yanni knows how to make some really catchy stuff, and Alexi and Rope play a really great solo on here. And I forgot, this is actually, I think Rope actually does a guitar solo on the song. It wasn't Tie My Rope, so apologies for the misunderstanding. And it just really just fits well with the song, and I really wish Rope would have done more guitar soloing during his run with the band. But then as the song ends, it pretty much gives you like a worn out, almost kind of like desert feel. And then we get to the final song on the album being Roadkill Morning, and I feel like the song has a really nice tempo to it, and it has a very highly groovy riff somewhere in the middle, followed by a great ambient kind of like keyboard chorus. And Alexi's vocals here are really fierce and distorted like his guitar work. And the highlight of the song is just the soloing, as always with every Children of Bodom song. And Alexi starts off with a bang, and Yanni sort of like continues the speed run with just a great melodic choice of notes, and it pretty much ends the album pretty well. Now overall, Blooddrunk by Children of Bodom is a pretty good album. It's really interesting. So yeah, if I were to give this album a score, I would give this a solid 8 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of the album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the album, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.